Hello, this is Randy. Welcome back to Brain Break with Randy and Keitho. I wanted to talk to you about a subject that I think is kind of important, and it probably should be a more important subject for younger men. Probably by the time you're my age, you figured this out. But if you haven't, you may learn something. I was going to say this is really only for men, but actually, if a wife hears it, she might be able to help her husband. Years ago, my wife and I saw the same doctor. We still do. Different doctor, though. The thing that was of interest to me was that I always felt like this doctor liked my wife better and he cared about her in a different way than he cared about me. So one day we were going somewhere together without the kids, rarely enough, because this was about 30 years ago. I said, "Hey, why is it that Dr. A likes you so much better than he likes me?" She says, "Well, I see him more than when I get sick. You go in when you're sick, and that's it." I said, "Well, why do you go see the doctor?" She says, "I see the doctor regularly for my health checkups. If he asks me to come back in 3 months or 6 months, that's when I go back. Whereas you just wait till you need to see him. So he doesn't think you take him very seriously." I thought, she may have a point there. So anyway, I was having a problem at that time with what I thought was my blood pressure. It really wasn't a problem at that time, but we needed to make sure. So this doctor had me get my own blood pressure machine. I took my blood pressure at home. Then I also would come in to have him take it because for some reason the nurse would come in and say, "Okay, roll up your sleeve, blah, blah, blah," and take my blood pressure. And it was always high. He says, "I think you may have white coat syndrome. That's where you're afraid of the white coat the doctor is wearing and or nurse." So he would put me in a room as soon as it was empty, have me lay down, the lights were off, and he would put a damp washcloth over my eyes and tell me just to relax. Now, this is before cell phones and you could listen to your cell phone, play music or anything. But I relaxed. And then he'd quietly come back in the room and he'd take my blood pressure himself. And lo and behold, I didn't have high blood pressure. I started realizing that if I gave him a chance, he could care about me the way he cared about my wife. Now, I bring that up because men are different than women. We see things differently than women do, not always in a good way. For instance, if you bring a problem to a man, he just wants to solve it, whether you just want him to listen to you or not. He just wants to solve the problem. I've had this beard since the pandemic. I decided if I didn't have to go see people anymore, I wasn't going to shave. I used to shave 6 times a week, 7 times a week. I've quite a thick beard. My hair on top is not as thick as it used to be, but I learned a lot growing this beard. I talked to everybody I could talk to that had a beard, usually by Zoom during the pandemic or Skype. I tried to learn from people that had amazing beards. Now, my beard, I've had a beard down to here. That's about as far as I've ever wanted to grow it. It wasn't my terminal length, which is something if you're had a beard for very long, you know what that means. What it means is your beard quits growing after a certain time. So when you see somebody that's got an amazing beard, like down to their belt, those guys are incredible. The fact that they can do that is just amazing. I've never seen how far I could go. A beard this far down was plenty for me. But a couple of stories about beards. If you don't properly take care of a beard, you'll get what's called beard drift. Now, there's something called beard oil, and most men try and buy that at the big box store where they buy their deodorant. Not a good idea. The best beard oil is actually made by what I call high quality, small batch manufacturers. These are guys that don't make a lot of anything. They're doing it because they love it and they're selling you a high quality product. Now, for instance, if I buy something from the big box store, I won't name any products to disparage anybody, but I was literally using twice the recommended amount. I would rub that into my beard because you rub beard oil underneath the beard into the skin. That keeps the skin moisturized because what a beard does is and a mustache is it wicks the moisture from your skin, the oil, which is naturally produced, right down into your beard. You got a long beard, it's not going to go all the way down unless you never wash your beard. Hopefully you are. I wash my beard and my hair about 3 times a week on the advice of my dermatologist. But what I learned is that instead of taking 2 dropperfuls of a cheap product, I could take 2 or 3 drops of a good product and put that throughout all my skin in my beard. I had no more dry beard. I didn't get beardruff anymore. I talked to a guy that really struggled with beardruff. I even helped him find a shampoo that would help him get rid of beardruff. He said, well, nothing's working. So he shaved his head. He still had dandruff with a shaved head. I'm sorry. If you know who I'm talking about, I apologize. Sometimes I can't help but laugh. So I asked him, tell me about how you do beard oil. Well, by the way, what product are you using? He named the product. It wasn't a very good product. It was inexpensive, but it wasn't a very good product. Definitely not one of those small batch quality manufactured products. So what he did was he would put it on his beard and according to the manufacturer's instructions, and it would dry out. He didn't reapply it. He just said, well, I did it. Yeah, but drying out is what's causing your beardruff, your dandruff. So I got him to get some good product. I got him to use very little of it. One, his beardruff disappeared and he put it on his head, and so did his dandruff. Now, another story about the difference between men and women, and you women will find this hilarious, but it's true. This man who had a real problem with beardruff and dandruff bought the best shampoo you can get. It's not cheap. It's about $1 an ounce, maybe $2 an ounce. It's not cheap, but it has a very effective product in it to help with dandruff. That's all. It's got 1%, which is what the government allows them to put in it. So I said, well, how are you using this? Because I use that same shampoo. I use it once a week. I never have a problem. I said, if anything, I could go 2 weeks without using it anymore. So what are you doing? So he says, I get in my shower and I wash my body and I get my head and my beard wet and I put the shampoo in my hands and I get it on my hair, get it in my beard, and I rinse it off and I get out. Okay, how's that working for you? He says, it's not. I said, here's what I do. I get in the shower. First thing I get wet is my hair and my beard. Then I put the shampoo in my hand and put it on my beard and on my head. Then I wash the rest of my body. And I even rinse off. Then I wash my face and my neck. And that's when I rinse first my beard and then my head. He says, so what do you do the whole time you're bathing? Just keep your eyes closed? I said, well, that or I swipe it off my forehead so it doesn't get in my eyes. He says, so why do you leave it on so long? I said, so it can work. It's kind of like anything else in life. If you don't give it a chance, it's not going to work. For instance, I once had a child that thought they knew how to cook. They would watch me turn the stove on, put a pan on, I'd turn it low, say 3. After about 5 or 10 minutes, it'd be perfect temperature and I'd cook my eggs in it. Well, they didn't notice that I'd turned it to 3. They turned it up to 8. The pan got hot very quickly. The oil smoked. I wondered why their eggs were always burned. You just have to do things the right way for the right reasons. So men, before you wait too long, make a friend of your doctor. Allow him to take good care of you. If you've got a beard or you've got dandruff, use a quality beard oil and hair oil. They do make them. And that can solve your problems. I thank you for taking the time to join me for Brain Break with Randy. I wish you a very good day. I hope to be able to talk to you again soon. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.